Well, welcome to 100% LCFC. My name is Phil, and this is the Fan Zone. We do it every Monday night, 8:30 on the dot. And good evening to everybody who's watching. Let's get some hellos in there. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, you can get your comments into us. Sam says hello. Hi, Sam. How are you? Hi, Nathan. Let's get lots of these hellos out there. Baz. Dan Hall, how are you? Mick Paget, how are you? Great to have you all on here as ever. Mick starts, gets straight in there and says, let's talk about Maddison for England. Gareth Southgate was obviously watching James Maddison on Saturday. I thought he had a great game. Potentially, I think he could have been man of the match. We put him up for the nominations, but in the end, I think everybody seemed to agree at the fact that Maguire was man of the match. I'm just reading out. Somebody saying, Rob is saying, anybody else seeing, looking at just a green screen? Hopefully you can see us all right. That's what we can, let us know. Can you see me? Can you see the show? Can you see what's going on? Hi to Stephen. Hi to Andy. Andy Medhurst says, hi Phil, Puel out. Well, somebody you might remember from last week is already waiting in the wings to come on, and that's Reese. We'll get to Reese very shortly. Reese is in fact a Puel out, part of the Puel out brigade. Can't even speak. So excited about getting Reese on, which is fine. And like we always say, nobody's right, nobody's wrong with their views. It could be interesting to see Reese try and argue why he's Puel out after Leicester have just won 3 games in the space of a week. Mick saying he can see us. Thanks, Mick. That's great. Evening from the Siam Fox, says Andrew Turnington. So get your comments in. We'll share it on there. Obviously, we're out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Dan is getting excited, Reese, for you. Bear with, Dan. We'll get Reese in there. But let's start with regular to the show, which is Tom. Tom, can you hear me okay?
Evening, Phil. Evening, on. Yeah, I can hear you fine, mate.
Fantastic, Tom. Right, we are going to bring Reese in. But before we do, Tom, it's been a good weekend, hasn't it, for Leicester?
I mean, it's good. I mean, we've won 3 games in a row. The performance against Huddersfield probably wasn't the best, but we got the job done. A 3-1 win. We then go to Wolves, and from what I saw and seen, we played pretty well in that game. And if we'd taken our chances, all Brighton had a really good chance. We wanted to go to penalties. But you know what? It also showed we got a very good penalty shot stopper in Danny Ward, who's now sitting on the bench, chomping at the bit to get his chance in goal. We then go to Newcastle away, what could have been a tricky affair, and don't get me wrong, they're struggling at the moment. We've beaten what's in front of us. A couple of scares when Maguire had to recover for a tackle, but bar that, a very comfortable performance away from home, and 3 points to keep us in. I think we're 8th now as it stands with the result at the moment, Bournemouth winning. But 8th, looking at the teams below us, Man United, West Ham, Everton, are all spent big bucks this summer. I think we're doing all right. I really do.
Here's a good question for us from Stephen Price. He says, do you think Puel has found his starting 11 in the last 2 Premier League games, Tom? What do you think to that?
I don't think he's far off that starting 11. I think maybe 1 or 2 players are still pushing for positions in the team. Albrighton probably is one, because I'm not sure he's still got that, comfortable right-hand side midfielder. So he's chopping and chaining between Albright and Pereira now, with Gray being injured. But bar that, I think the nucleus of the team is there, and Didi and Mendy are going to be hard to shift. I think the front 3 are now starting to look very exciting and linking up well together in Iheanacho, Vardy and Maddison. What can we change? There's not much. I think Amate is now nailing the right back position down, and we've not played the best teams in the world, but do you know what? He's not doing a bad job there. And if Puel wants to pick him, we've got to back him at the moment.
I mean, it's an interesting thing for us. I mean, we're all saying Mendy has been a bit of a find. Is Amate turning into another of those players, Tom, that we weren't expecting anything from this season, and yet Amate is really, like you say, 2 good games don't make a season, as they would say, but he's looking decent, isn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, for me at the beginning of the season, we one of the players I felt if we could move on and get some money back on him, because I didn't think it had worked out for him, then I would have taken it. But the handball at Man U, he got took out of the team and brought back in after a couple of games. He actually hasn't done bad against Huddersfield. Against Wolves, he came on and did a great job at the back. Going into a back 3. He then played right back for 2 or 3 games now, and he's not done a bad job there. He hasn't been caught out with it, really. And it's nice to see that we've got another young player, and this is what we're learning. He's a young man. He's still learning the game. and Puel's putting some faith in him. So let's back him at the end of the day.
Right, Reese has been waiting in the sidelines. We're all going to be. Let's just get him in, Reese. Let's count down. 3, 2, 1. Here he comes. Good evening to the show, Reese. How are you?
I'm good, yeah, not bad.
Reese, we've just won 3 games on the trot.
Yeah.
We're currently in the top half of the table. I think we're 7th. Is that right?
Can't hear him, Phil, by the way.
You can't hear him. I can hear you, Reese.
Can everyone else hear me?
I can hear you. Reese, what are you still Puel out? And if so, tell us why.
Well, I am, but the thing is with Puel, he's now won 3 games in a row and shut me up. So, in a way, but I think the way he plays is just a bit boring to me. It's not always been the Leicester way, We've always played attacking kind of football, attractive football. And fair enough, if he gets to 7th in the league and a cup final, I'm not going to say I'll back him because I still won't like him, but it'll still be, he'll still have done a good achievement. He would have. I'd say that's a good finish. I'd say that's a good finish for him.
I think that's fair enough, Reese. But I mean, you have been quite vocal on the fact that you don't think what he's been doing is right. Is he starting to win you over then slightly, or will it be, 2 defeats coming up and you'll be straight back on his case again?
I'm not expecting us to go out and win every single game, but we can't, lose 4-2 against Bournemouth. We can't concede 4 against Bournemouth. A team like Bournemouth, who are, in my opinion, we're a step above Bournemouth. I think we're far better than them. But
I mean, here's a couple of comments for you. I'll just break in and put them on there. Reese Clifton says he's not bothered about the way we play. It's a results business. Sam Perkins saying, who cares how we play if it means getting wins? Boring football is fine if we're winning, says Mick. I'd like to chuck it back to you, Reese, to start with there, and then I'll ask Tom the same. I don't think it's been that boring, actually. I think against Newcastle, they were not a good side, but we completely dominated that game for me. And ditto Huddersfield. Reese, what do you think?
I don't know. It to me it seems a bit flat and lethargic and a bit boring. But you can see the certain like attacking bits in the game. But for me, it's more or less just passing around, boring. We want attacking football.
I mean,
Wayne
is saying here, and I'll come to you next, Tom, so you can ask your questions. Wayne's saying here, I can see what Puel is trying to achieve with possession football, but there's nothing wrong with going direct now and then. Remember how we won the league. Well, I would argue we have got a lot of possession now, Tom, but as we did against Huddersfield, we clearly can break away and score some goals.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, people might say it's boring football, but also you could say it's clever football, what we're trying to do. And that is draw people out to put Maddison in behind, put Vardy in behind, Iheanacho making these runs down the side of the centre half and the fullback to then try and get a shot on goal or pull it back for a tap in or an easy finish. The possession-based football is what he's trying to achieve. Is always going to be difficult when we haven't seen that in a long time at the game. We're so used to counter attack. These are the games, though, like Huddersfield and Newcastle 18 months ago, and we saw the back end of last season. We would have drawn that game. We wouldn't have got anything. We would have gone there worried about how we were going to counter attack because teams are sitting deep and not letting us have any space and going, break 10 men down, Leicester. But you don't know how to do it. Puel is trying to get us into a rhythm where we can counter attack what we saw against Huddersfield, where 2 of the goals came from, but also we're going to try and pull teams out, what we did against Newcastle the weekend when we created a couple of chances. Probably not as much as Puel would have liked, but we are creating things. Was it 18 shots against Huddersfield? I think something silly we had in that game. The game before that, 10 shots. So we are creating things, and at some point, that we are going to score some goals in a game, and it is going to come. I just think we just got to be a bit patient and get used to the style he's trying to achieve, but we will counter-attack. We've seen that, and we can do it still.
Okay, here's a few comments from people who are watching, and do get your comments in. Stephen Price poses a question saying, are we playing better football now or when we won the Premier League? And Dan Hall's pretty much answered that by saying, we have 12 points in 7 games, which is the same amount of points at the same stage of our title winning season. I mean, my honest, guys, and I'll ask you, Reece, is I personally don't think we're playing as dynamic, exciting football as the season we won the Premier League at the moment. But I would probably argue my logic is we're playing some of the best football I've seen a Leicester City side play in 40 years of watching Leicester City, Reece. I know you're obviously a lot younger than me, so your
Yeah.
benchmark is perhaps that one Premier League season when we won the title.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the football I've watched for Leicester is like, Championship League One. Majority of the time and then we've broke through. So the Championship and League One's not going to be brilliant football. So obviously I've not seen as much as you, but you know, I think the season we won the league, we were a lot better than we are now. We played a lot more exciting football. Straight as soon as we got the ball, we were straight onto the attack and trying to create the goals, trying to get the counter attack and get onto the goals. But I think that's good. We had a bit more protection as well in defence, in my opinion.
Yeah, Tom.
With N'Golo Kante.
Tom, it is just different to the season we won the Premier League, isn't it? But it's we have to almost forget that we did that in a way, don't we, and move on.
I mean, it's two different styles, completely different styles of play to what we're doing now. For me, the season we won the Premier League, it was all about being compact, not letting anyone get half a chance, and then using the pace of Vardy, Albright, Mahrez, Okazaki linking the play up between the three of them, strikers, and breaking on teams at such pace, but no one could get back into shape to defend goals, and we were flying. This season is very much about getting more possession of the ball. What we 63% most games now, where the season we won it, we had 38. It's about using the ball more cleverly, dragging teams forward and then opening up the space where teams are trying to sit back deeper. And teams, a lack of concentration. But also, like I say, it's the intricate play, trying to move the ball around in that triangles, little passes here and there, and then get into the 18-yard box and really, really quick 1-2 passes to try and open teams up. Totally different season we won the league. And do you know what? I think it is better football than we won when we won the league because of how intricate we're playing than just one ball over the top or a hit and hope sometimes. What we got in Britain, no one seemed to work it in the league. If we're going to back, like you did, 40 years, I'm going to go back 20 years when I was watching Leicester and O'Neill and all that. We were known for a team that got the ball wide and put crosses in the box. That's what we did in them. So it's probably completely different styles than what we played in a long time for this club.
Yeah, Dan Shearer's got a good point here. He says it's good because we're playing different styles of football, not all counter-attacking football, but we're building a variety of football so people don't know quite what to expect for us. Reece, what do you think to that, Reece? That there is, we are doing a little bit of counter-attacking football, but we've got a lot more possession now.
Yeah, I prefer it that, to be honest, I know this might sound a little weird, but I prefer it that they attack us and then we win the ball off them and we hit them when they're vulnerable, not when they've got 4 men defending. Let them come and attack and then then get the ball, hit them on the counter properly.
Yeah, okay, Reece. Well, I'll tell you what,
Reece. Hitting them on the counter it's different to when we won the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree, Reece. And to be fair play. You've come on tonight. Like we always want people to come on and have their conversation. You've given your logic to why you are sort of Puel out. It's nice to hear that you're actually, giving him a bit of space to breathe at the moment. But thanks for joining us, Reece. And we'll see you again in a couple of weeks when we've maybe lost a game and you've gone mentally Puel out again.
Yeah, that's fine. All
right. Cheers, mate.
See ya.
So that was good to have Reece on here. I'm just going to trot through some of the comments. Like I say, we always want people to click on the videos and come in. Anybody's welcome. Don Cole's got an interesting one. Don obviously does shows on a Thursday. He says, let's hold all the Puel in, Puel out conversations until after the next 3 matches. If we can do well against Everton, Arsenal and West Ham, then we'll have a better idea of who we are. I think Dun's got a bit of quite a good point there. Although, for me, I think let's hold off against Puel in, Puel out, full stop. I don't think it needs to be a conversation. Wayne Evans says we can't keep comparing to the league-winning season. Let's be honest, that was a one-off, and we should be satisfied with what we currently have. Let's be realistic. Which, Tom, I think that's my logic. That was a Premier League winning season, but the club has got another 130 something seasons to compare against. And for me, I know what I've seen, and I'm actually really quite liking what I'm seeing with this team. It's certainly a lot better than what we had last year, isn't it, Tom?
Oh, there's a couple of good points there. What Don just said, yeah, we can keep going back to the Puel and Puel out. Let's just back him.
Yeah.
Let's not, let's just back the team. If you like Puel or not, just get behind the boys. We make a difference every game, and we said that before. 3,000 up in Newcastle the weekend, great support again from the fans. We fill the home games every single week. So let's just back the team on the pitch. If you like Puel or not, it doesn't matter for me. Back him, back the players until whatever happens. Looking at, like I say, the title season was a one-off. Will never happen again, probably in my generation. Maybe to another team, we'll never know, because Blackburn did it one year and we've done it one year. But it's come and gone now. I think if you were to look at the teams who are in the Championship, like your Leeds United, Derby, Forest, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, there's some big football clubs who love to be where we are, seventh in the Premiership. Not looking at over the shoulders at the the relegation zone at the moment, because we're keeping ourselves a nice distance away from it, and with every chance of pushing into those European spaces. I don't get what our fans expect. I mean, if they think we're going to get Champions League football every year, it's not going to happen, because we'll never be able to compete against Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, United. Because one, the money they have to offer the players, but two, it's what they've done in the last 7 years by winning league title consistently, and that's where the big players want to go. And the likes of us, West Ham, Everton, are always going to be scrapping for that next player in around that league. So 7th, 8th, I think, is a good season, as long as we get a good cup run with it.
Steve saying, are we going for it in the League Cup? I actually think, Steve, I think Puel is going for it in it, because I think he put out more than a good enough team to play a Wolves reserve team. Wolves haven't got the strength in depth. We're talking with Jamie from Wolves Fan TV this time last week, and I think Tom, I think we are going for the League Cup. We are in the last 16. We've got a home draw against either Southampton or Everton. That's not easy, but it's more than winnable, isn't it?
Well, you look at the team: Vardy, Nacho, Okazaki. They all played. Ibora, Silva. That's not a bad midfield to be playing in that league. Albright and Gray. But these players are players who've played a lot this season. So for me, we are still looking at that League Cup, and we've got a chance.
But Tom, that was something that I heard I heard some commentary from Saturday's game, and they were talking about Leicester have now got a decent quality player and two decent quality players for every position in the team. We've not got just one player, and I think that is exactly what you're saying, isn't it? Here's Don.
I think the depth we've got now is a lot better than probably when we won the league. If you're going to be honest, I think there's a better calibre of player in those position. We probably haven't seen the best from Silva yet. What's a shame, because I think he's a very talented footballer, but hasn't really had the opportunities. We all know what Bora can do. He came on at the weekend and he ran the show when he came on for that final 10 minutes, what he was there to do. I don't think he got out of second gear, like first gear. He was passing it around for fun and keeping the play going. You look at the fullbacks. You've got Fuka Chilwell on the left, and Marty and Simpson. He's not playing much, but you've got a good right back in the backup position. You go to your centre halves: Morgan, Maguire, Evans, Suzik. I can't pronounce it that well. Even Ben Aloan, we all know what he can do. There's competition for place in that team, and I think we're seeing that now with the. Okay, change is not what we always want to see every game, but we also know that every player that can come in, could do the same job that the plays replacing does.
Don, here you are, all the way from Myrtle Beach, USA.
How are you guys doing?
How are you, Don?
Good, thank you.
Come on then, Don, give us your feedback on Saturday's game, and you put a comment in earlier about let's just back Puel, basically.
Yeah, well, so much of the Puel in, Puel out, we're talking about it, and we just won a couple of matches where we had we were in total control the entire time. I wasn't felt threatened the last match at all. They had one really good shot on goal, and that was about it. And to what Tom said, we have such depth now that we can go during the week in the EFL Cup and put a strong team out and still have another strong team to put out on the weekends. So we're in a really good position, and I think going forward we are. But the whole peel in, peel out thing, I think you just need to put the brakes on it and wait until we play some different level opponents, and then if we need to have that conversation, then fine. But let's prove that it's done. But this weekend, I thought that was outstanding. I'll tell you, the key for me has been Madison.
Yeah.
Iheanacho and Vardy, when they were on the pitch before Madison came here, they never looked like they played well together ever. He's made them better together because of the way he distributes the ball and controls it in the middle of the field. I think he's done an outstanding job in that capacity. Because Vardy and Iheanacho just never looked good together until now.
So, Tom, do you agree with Don saying there that Madison is making Iheanacho and Vardy work?
I didn't hear what Don said, sadly. But no, I agree with Don in that situation. Like I said, after the last couple of games, the link-up play between Madison, Vardy and Iheanacho has been very promising. I think we've all been waiting for Nacho to click, and maybe Madison's the player that can make that happen for him. Not just being that he can score goals, but the actual all-round play between them three was quite scary against Huddersfield. They were all linking up, 1-2 touches, all looking for make a run off the ball. I think for me at the weekend, it was nice to see Madison versus someone that was touted to go to the World Cup in John Joe Shelby. And I thought Shelby was poor at the weekend. And, Madison had a field day against him, passing the ball around for fun and getting between the lines. He makes things happen, Madison. And you can see Vardy and him are starting to click now. Him and Nacho are starting to click. And then Vardy and Nacho are clicking more than I thought we would see. So a lot of positive to take from them three. And Madison, keep doing what he's doing. That England call-up won't be far away from me.
I think there's every chance Madison will get called up in the next England squad. Don, looking for... Go on.
We could have 4 players from Leicester on England's squad.
That would be well. That's go on then. Name the 4, Don.
It'd be Maguire, Chilwell, Gray, and Madison.
If Gray, Gray is obviously injured. I can't imagine. I know I don't think he'll be back in time for it. But I know what you're saying, Don. It is strength in depth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Turning our attentions to the Everton match, which is on Saturday, Don. Let's start with you. Everton looked fairly decent at the weekend in their win. They sort of cruised in the end to, I think, 3-0. They, as somebody put earlier, Everton, I think West Ham and Arsenal being the next 3 games. I think I'm right with that. Yep. That is a tougher challenge for us, and it will be interesting to see where we're at. What are you expecting against Everton?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing for Everton is they go the way Sigurdsson goes. So we need to make sure and put the clamps on him and try and limit his ability to do what he does. He's an outstanding player. I think if we can do that, I really don't see much more of a threat from them. I think we have the ability to open them up and spread them out and really get some of those lanes open and get Vardy and Iheanacho forward for, like a 3-1 win.
Tom, what are your expectations for Everton?
Oh, it's a tough game. Like I said earlier, if you look at the 3 games we've got, who would have taken that we're above Everton, West Ham in the league and 3 points behind the Arsenal? I think we're quite happy with them. And don't get me wrong, you look at Everton, they spent a lot of money in the summer on Richarlison, who hasn't really done much for a few goals. They've got some good players, though, so it'll be a tricky tie. A lot trickier than it was last season when they were in the dumps. But I expect at home we can always get a win. We all know if we back we've got a great record at the King Power Stadium in the Premier League at the moment. So just get behind the lads. I think we make such a difference when we are behind them, making that King Power an atmosphere that teams don't want to come and play at. And I think against Liverpool we start to see that. Huddersfield was a lot better atmosphere down there. But we've got every chance of getting at Everton. We know they're not the quickest team at the back if Vardy can get in.
So Don, how do you think? Do you think Puel may well change the team formation and lineup for this weekend again? He seems to be sort of tinkering with it, and he's coming across as a tactical sort of solutions he's coming up with. Yeah,
he seems to move the players around. I liked Ricardo much more in the role that he played this weekend than at right back. I thought he looked much more comfortable. I thought he looked much stronger. For me, Albrighton should be someone that starts there. I think Albrighton should start every match. But I agree. I think you're going to see some changes. The one thing I've heard a lot of people say is West looks slow. He looks out of position. He looks out of place. That we should bring someone else in. But right now, considering I'm sorry, Tom, you said his name way better than I ever could have. But apparently, he can't communicate with everybody. Evans has not looked strong at all. I mean, other than Benny, like who else would you start there?
I mean, from watching the game on Saturday, Tom, I thought Wes didn't have a great first half, but I thought he did all right in the second half. But it was against a poor side. You're going to stick with Wes in the team, Tom?
Am I going to stick with Wes? Yeah, because I don't think Johnny Evans is match fit yet, and I think he would struggle against someone like Calvert-Lewin and Tugit, the Turkish striker they've got. Might be a good idea to play the Turkish lad. He might be able to understand him then. Bar that, the only one change, I think possibly maybe Albrighton might come back into that team for Ricardo Pereira, just to give yourself a bit more defensive shape against two or three quick players they've got in their team. But bar that, I don't see him making too many changes for the weekend. I think he'll want to go out and attack Everton and exploit their weaknesses, that they're not great at defending at the moment. Teams who actually have gone at Everton have had quite a bit of success this season.
Don, are you expecting a Leicester win against Everton?
I am. I think we are definitely capable of doing it. I think if we play in the system and get a few maybe possible breakaways with Vardy or Iheanacho like they did before in the previous matches, I think we have the capability of doing it.
Tom, score prediction for Saturday, first goal scorer, final score?
I'm going Mr. Vardy again because he's got a good record against Everton, and I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0 to Leicester. Don, over to you.
I said 3-1 earlier. I think it'll be 3-2. I think at the end they'll give a push in and make it tight, but I think we'll still pull it out.
And who to score first, Don?
Man, I'm going to go with Maddison.
You're going to go with Maddison. Here's a really random question. I don't know if you two can see all the comments that are coming in below. I can't put them all on screen. There's been a flying conversation that's been making me chuckle about whether Amati went into Primark and chatted with somebody and bought clothes in Primark. Tom, do you think Amati would shop in Primark?
Oh dear.
Crazy. Anyway, Tom and Don, thank you both very much for joining us.
Cheers, Phil.
Cheers, Tom.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
See you guys soon. Brilliant, thanks. That was great to get Don and Tom on. I'm just going to go through some of the comments, but probably not the Primark one. Magic Mendy will keep an eye on Sigurdsson. If not, then we have Wilf, says Daryl, which I think is right. Soyuncu is playing tonight, says Chris. Okay, I've not been watching the under-23s. Can anybody give us a score check? It's finished now, hasn't it? Let us know how it is. Will Holloway, super famous My Brother Will, says Wes the legend still has another season left in him. Thanks for that little gem from Will. Rosemary says, was he with Pule? Did they buy trash nets? Rosemary's talking about, this is the off-screen Primark chat, which I haven't managed to keep right up with. Lee Chappers, how's your lad doing, Lee? Hopefully he's doing well. He was obviously in the Royal for a good little time, being poorly. Tough game anyway, says Chappers. Everton have a strong defence, and Pickford has just signed a new deal. Pickford looked great at the weekend. What a keeper he is, says Lee. However, I think 2-1 to Leicester. That's fair enough. Dan Hall is giving a score prediction. 2-1 to City with Vardy and Maddison. Neil Bennett is going 2-2 against in a draw on Saturday. Anthony Howard is saying, as long as we don't concede early, which has been a bad habit until, obviously, the last 3 games where 3 clean sheets on the trot, I make that in my mind. Will's back with his score prediction, wants the pizzas. 1-0 with Maddison to score first. Ellis says, I think Wes has lost it. However, because Maguire is world class, it makes Wes look shite. Mick Paget is saying 3-1 with Maddison to score first. Chris says he doesn't rate Everton's defence. That's fair enough. Reece Taylor is saying 3-2 with Vardy to score first. Dan is saying 3-1 with Vardy, Maddison and Maguire. Thanks, Will, for that. Appreciate that. You're my number 1 fan, little brother. I have a picture. Oh, Reece is on about Amati again in Primark. Go on then, Reece. Send us a picture of Amati in Primark. Maybe he was. The under-23s lost 2-1, which is great. Thanks, Baz. A shame about that. 2-1 to Arsenal, and Soyuncu got booked, says Raj. Sam Perkins is saying, let's shut the Pule Out Brigade, who would rather see us lose. I did actually see some tweets. Jamie from the Fox's Arms earlier sent us some copies of some people doing tweets that some Leicester fans actually do want us to lose so that they can get Pule out, which is just beyond bonkers, isn't it? Lee Chapman is saying he'll be back doing a show on Wednesday. He's back at 8 o'clock. Great. Good to have you back, chappers. That's great. Don is saying, what is Primark? Well, somebody explain to Don what is Primark. And Ken White's going 3-1 City. There's still more of this. I'm not putting it all on screen about Amati. Honestly, Walcott is a nightmare against us and always scores. Yes, he does. And he's been playing quite well for Everton, to be fair. Anthony's saying they've got a slow defence, so Vardy can get in there, which is good to hear. Paul Birchett is going Madders to score first and 4-1 City. I'll go to that game, Paul, please. Thank you. Trust King Claude, masterclass v Newcastle. I thought it was. I thought we played that game perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Neil Bennett saying he saw Vardy in the pound shop. Yeah, what famous players have you seen in what shops? No, Will, you haven't won the pizza yet. You'll never win it. Trust me. Never, ever win it. Reese is saying there is a Primark in Boston for Don over in America. Top 6, here we come, says Chris. Finish above Man United at this rate. Dan says he saw Wes in Peter's Pizzas. Actually, they've all been in Peter's Pizzas. All the players, especially in that... Reese is saying, hashtag promoting Primark. Yes, I think you are. We should be sponsored by Primark. Dan Shear is saying Primark would be our new sponsor. We are. Look, listen. It's the end of the show. We're meant to have finished at 9 o'clock, so we are going completely off the things. Sam is saying she saw Vasilevsky in Asda before. That one I actually believe. He was probably wrestling a joint of lamb or something. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for everybody who's been watching. It's been absolutely great to get you all on. Thanks as ever to all the people who help us make the show, which is Peter's Pizzas, ADT Taxis, Everard's Hologram, and our pals over at the Fox's Arms. So thanks so much to those guys. But most important is thanks to all you lot who watch, put the comments in, however daft they are, and still making me laugh. Big Wes was in the Walker's Butcher's Pies. Adios, pal. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for watching. Thanks for Terry over in Ireland. I didn't put your comment up, but I saw that you were watching, that you got a penny in the meter. And that's been absolutely brilliant. If you can, as ever, like and share the videos. That would be absolutely brilliant. Always appreciate that. Lee Chappers is doing his show on Wednesday at 8:30. We'll be live from before and after the game at... Cheers, Ellis. Thanks for watching. We'll be before and after the game outside the Blues Bar. I've got to take a prize down or two. And watch out. I'm hoping to do a live from the King Power on Thursday at 6 o'clock. We've got a good prize coming out there. The sponsors have given us some money. And I think we've got a copy of FIFA 19 to give away on Thursday, or start the competition going at least. So if any of you are in... thanks, Will. See you on next week. If any of you are into FIFA 19 and not got your copy of it yet, you can get it on PS4, Xbox, whatever's. We've got one to give away. Start that competition for FIFA 19 on Thursday. So, once again, thanks to all the sponsors. Keep it 100% LCFC, and we'll see you all at the match on Saturday. Cheers for now.